Does the Health Department keep a track of all the drugs they purchase on a publicly available schedule, including costs and who produce those drugs, which sponsor you buy them from?
Just ask Professor Lawler to come to the table. I'm just trying to think which drugs you have in mind.
Well, all drugs. I just want to know how much money the Health Department spends on drugs. And I want to see a line item listing.
Well, what I'm struggling with is that in the predominant effect, what we do is we're part of the process that's advised and independent of which drugs will be available in Australia and which will be listed on the PBS. But our role in actually purchasing pharmaceuticals that's what I'm struggling with. With vaccines we have in the past, but Ms. Shakespeare...
Yeah, okay, including PBS. So if that's part of the expenditures, I think PBS cost was something like $18 billion. So a list of any drugs that you buy directly and then a list of any PBS subsidies on like how much the drug costs and then how much it's being sold through the pharmacy for by a sponsor.
So, Ms. Shakespeare?
I just want to see how the money's being spent, that's all, and compare it to frontline
I just thought that the kind of us as a department buying these drugs when in fact that's not really the way it works.
Well, we're happy to talk about how the pharmaceutical benefit scheme works, but I might ask Professor Singer to talk about the directly purchased medicines which are held in the National Medical Stockpile and the extent to which we can actually provide any information about that first.
Yes.
Yes, Associate Professor Andrew Singer, Acting Chief Medical Officer. So, Senator, we do purchase drugs for the use of the National Medical Stockpile, which essentially is a series of drugs that are used for emergency purposes. So, for example, we used as part of the pandemic where they were distributed alternatively to either states and territories or directly to general practices. I can tell you that since the start of the pandemic, there's been around $3.5 billion of personal protective equipment in terms of drugs. I'll just need to try and find the actual amounts here. So I'm just getting there. So in terms of, I can't give you an actual cost in the figures I've got here, but I can tell you that there were 755,000 COVID-19 treatments that were deployed through the NMS, which essentially were provided to states and territories, the Aboriginal Community Controlled Health Centres.
I thought something like 300 million COVID vaccines were bought.
No, these are treatments, Senator, not vaccines.
Okay, sorry.
I just need to see if I can...
Look,
I'll have to take it on notice, Senator.
You take it on notice, but I want a list of what you buy directly and then a list of your PBS schedule by drug and how much is each drug subsidised by.
So to be clear, Senator, the National Medical Stockpile are direct purchases, they're not part of the PBS.
I know, that's what I said. So your direct purchases and then your PBS and how much each drug is subsidised, because on the tax expenditure statement it said the PBS cost was $18 billion. I just want to see how that's broken up line by line.
Senator,
okay.
After the next question, I have to rotate the call. That's coming to the end of the coalition's block.
Okay,
Chair,
right.
I wonder if Ms Shakespeare just comment on what is currently published with respect to the PBS and which information is available.
Can you put that on notice, please? Because I've just got to get through more questions, that's all.
Senator, all of the PBS medicines and their published prices are published at the moment. It's pbs.gov.au. There are, I think, 9,000 different brands. They're all published.
Okay, and does that also show how much the government pays and then how much it's subsidised by?
In many cases it does. There are some cases where we have agreements with companies where they rebate us for a proportion of the price. That is not published and I'm not able to provide that to you.
Are you able to provide the volume as well? Because I want to reconcile it back to $19 billion. So you can say that this drug is subsidised, it costs $10, we sell it for $5, like we give a $5 rebate, but then I want to see the actual quantity.
I can provide you with aggregate data about the rebates provided from medicines companies to the government, but they're covered under commercially confidential deeds for
I thought you'd say
individual
that.
medicines.
Yes, okay.
So I can give you aggregate data and we'll provide that on notice.
Okay, sure.
Senator, just in terms of numbers, the net cost or spend on PBS is about $12.5 billion.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Authorised G. Rennick People First Chermside.